You guys are never going to believe this, but there is now a rift between the world's richest man and the president of the United States. Two guys with tons of money and giant egos who thought they could be best friends. I know, it's a stunning turn of events. No one could have seen this coming. I'm hearing gasps in our audience. Someone just passed out from the shock. Wait, nope, I'm sorry, never mind. It's just Donald Trump. He fell asleep again. It happens all the time. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. You guys remember Elon Musk over here, rich guy, weird face, dresses like a hungover Dracula? Well, until recently, he very humbly and gracefully served our country doing hard work no one else was willing or able to do, like teaching a 78-year-old boy how to drive a car or waving a chainsaw about while screaming the word chainsaw.
Chainsaw!
Or accidentally firing a bunch of people, then begging them to come back.
DOGE has made some high-profile mistakes. Last night, the Department of Agriculture admitted it's trying to get back some key workers who were accidentally fired. Veterinarians and animal health technicians working to prevent the spread of bird flu.
We've seen experts in nuclear weapons fired, then rehired. We've seen people at the Veterans Crisis Line fired, then rehired. We've seen people investigating pandemics, infectious diseases, fired, then rehired.
Elon Musk said that as a part of the DOGE cuts, they accidentally fired the group of people that were watching for Ebola.
We will make mistakes. We won't be perfect. One of the things we accidentally canceled very briefly was Ebola, Ebola prevention. I think we all want Ebola prevention.
You know, I used to think so, but now I'm like, bring it on, you know? At this point, the only thing 2025 is missing is a full-on Ebola pandemic. I mean, who doesn't miss pandemic Trump giving a daily press briefing where he tries to MacGruber the cure to a deadly disease? Give me a bottle of bleach, some orange pills, and a ballpoint pen. Also, how do you accidentally cancel something as crucial as the federal government's Ebola prevention program? I can't even cancel my own cable package without talking to 9 different people, providing 3 forms of ID, and waiting 6 months for the next billing cycle to end. Although, I shouldn't complain. My parents tried to cancel Cinemax the entirety of my teenage years, but it stuck around till after I left for college. Yeah, Mom and Dad, that's right. I was watching Cinemax in the basement when you guys were asleep, and if I heard you shuffling around the kitchen, I would grab the remote and change it to PBS. You thought I was watching a documentary about the Dust Bowl, but I was actually watching a show called The Lust Hole. A demonstrably bad softcore porn title. And by the way, those weren't the only mistakes Musk and his team made. If anything, the mistakes were more common than the successes.
The DOGE website now is touting $175 billion in savings. That's, we did the math, 18% of the claimed $1 trillion, which is half of the $2 trillion initially claimed. Does that $175 billion figure stand up to the numbers, the data?
No, it doesn't. In fact, about half of it is not accounted for at all. It's not itemized. Remember, they set up this thing called the wall of receipts, which was supposed to itemize every single dollar that they cut.
Yeah.
Half of those dollars are unaccounted for. They're just take our word for it. And even the dollars that they do itemize, there's huge errors that cause it to be off by billions of dollars.
You know what was a good sign this wasn't going to be tightly run? The phrase wall of receipts. The more receipts people have, the more up their finances are. It's like when your grandpa asks for help with his taxes and when you show up, he just has 2 full trash bags full of receipts. I saved everything, but why? I told you, you can't deduct Dentine gum. Well, somebody's got to pay for it. Yes, you paid for it. Also, just a reminder that when either of these 2 Einsteins start talking about how a wall is going to solve everything, don't hold your breath. They should have combined efforts and made the border wall out of DOGE receipts. Now, as you may have heard, Elon caught some very undeserved flack for firing bird flu scientists and nuclear engineers and appearing to be pro-Ebola. And, well, that took a toll on him and his businesses.
Tesla not getting good numbers. Portugal, Tesla sales down 68% in May, year over year. Denmark, sales down 31% in May. Sweden, Tesla sales down 54%.
Sales dropping 5 months in a row in the UK, Germany, as well as Italy.
Year-to-date, Tesla sales in France are down nearly 50%. So the backlash against Elon Musk in Europe continuing.
Got some more weak sales figures out of Europe this morning, tumbling 67% in France from a year ago. That's the lowest since 22. And Spain down 29 year on year.
Okay, but in fairness, if you have a car, you're doing Europe wrong. You think Rick Steves has a driver's license? Dude doesn't even have luggage. He's got one backpack with a dime bag and a single change of clothes, and he walks from Madrid to Budapest. The only time we hear Steves talk about Tesla is when he's at the Tesla Museum in Belgrade. He's got life figured out. Dude's got a whole series called Europe Through the Back Door, which incidentally is one of the shows I used to watch on Cinemax. I mean, it's no lust hole. No lust holes. It's pretty good. Remember my dad would yell down, "What are all those moaning sounds?" And I'd be like, "It's just people excited about travel, Dad." So things have gone south for Elon. Aside from his businesses, he's also had some unsavory aspects of his personal life exposed that I'm betting he would have liked to keep private.
The New York Times reporting this morning that Musk was engaged in increasingly intense drug use during the Trump campaign last year.
Musk accused, apparently, of using ketamine, psychedelic mushrooms, ecstasy, and they say he would travel with a box of 20 pills every day.
He told people he was taking so much ketamine, a powerful anesthetic, that it was affecting his bladder, a known effect of chronic use.
First of all, it's nice to know that he was jumping on stage with Trump. He wasn't happy, he just really had to pee. Second, when I hear that story, all I can think is, man, I wish that had been the Biden scandal. Nah, dude. He wasn't old, he was tripping balls. That debate, full K-hole. And remember that concert? My boy took all the shrooms. So things have been bad for Elon, which is what happens to everyone who sells their soul to Trump. But I actually think Elon's been resigned to his fate, and we've just been watching him go through the 5 stages of grief in real time. Think about it. First, there was denial. Then there was anger. Oh my God, who knew he was on drugs? It's hard to believe. I mean, that reminds me of Burning Man. Was Biden there too? Then there was bargaining, in this case, literally bargaining with Trump to buy a Tesla from him, which Trump very helpfully advertised by saying this.
Everything's computer.
That's what I told the cable company when they tried to sell me Cinemax as an adult. I don't need cable anymore, everything's computer. Lust hole. Then there was depression.
How are you running your other businesses?
With great difficulty. Yeah, I mean...
But there's no turning back, you're saying?
I'm just here trying to make government more efficient.
Oof. Dude's the richest man in the world, and he's sighing like a dad whose 6-year-old just called him a bitch in front of the other parents. I'm just trying to get her home for her bath. And then, of course, comes acceptance, which is where Elon appears to be now, because we're watching him slowly realize in real time that he might f*** up.
It's not like I agree with everything the administration does. I don't want to, speak out against the administration, but I don't want to... I also don't want to take responsibility for everything the administration's doing.
Then you shouldn't have made yourself the Trump administration's mascot. This is like Tony the Tiger doing a tell-all interview with 60 Minutes and saying, I don't know where everybody got the idea that Frosted Flakes are so great. I mean, they're fine. Just a few months ago, you literally said the words, I love Donald Trump as much as a straight man can love another man. You could have just said, I love Donald Trump. You didn't have to make it so weird. Not like if you said, I love Donald Trump, people are like, yo, you want to have sex with him? It's like, no, I wasn't done. I wasn't done. Sounds like you want to have sex with him as much as a straight man. I don't know anything about Elon's alleged drug use, but this is definitely the kind of things two roided out tech bros say when they're wasted at a club. I love you, man. No, I love you. I just peed my pants. So did I. Ketamine. Now, Elon is swerving harder than one of his self-driving Teslas because he's gone from loving Donald Trump to ripping Trump's biggest legislative priority.
Another crack between Elon Musk of Doge and Donald Trump. Elon Musk posted something on X extremely critical of the president's mega bill.
He says, I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it.
Shame on those who voted for it, and shame on those who spend hundreds of millions of dollars to get you elected, whoever they are. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll be on Amazon shopping for Depends. You can buy them online now because
everything's computer.
So, let me get this straight. The Trump administration's signature initiative to cut government waste was, by your own standards, an abject failure. And now, in your own words, the administration's biggest legislative priority, a bill that wraps up every MAGA goal into one package and was recently described by Stephen Miller as the most MAGA bill ever passed, is a disgusting abomination. So then, let me ask, what do you agree with? If you hate all that stuff, then what do you like about the Trump administration? It certainly can't be partying with J.D. Vance, a man so deeply off-putting and uncharismatic, even the Pope was like, I'm out. Now, if you're wondering, will Trump be mad about this? It's hard to say, given that Trump is such a notorious wallflower. But according to Fox News, there's some gossip going around.
I think the Elon Musk thing really caught the president by surprise, and I hear he is furious.
I hear he is furious is the safest bet anyone can make when describing Donald Trump's reaction to criticism. Let me know when someone says, insiders reporting that Donald Trump looking inward, reflecting on what role he may have played in turning his friend against him. And we're just getting news now that the president has posted a response on Truth Social, heartbroken to have disappointed someone who loved me as much as a straight man can love another man. Clearly, for Elon Musk, this is all about power and self-enrichment, because when it comes to his actual stated beliefs, the things he claims to care about, he achieved nothing. And in the process, he was used and discarded, like so many before him, by Donald Trump. And to get through it, he reportedly used so many drugs, he was peeing
With great difficulty.
This has been a closer look.